everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I am going to do a project for you. I'm going to start, hopefully, a little series of the remaining celebration stuff. So we're getting to the last week, and in the past few years, I don't know, maybe 4-ish years, we have had 2 celebrations a year, and maybe a little bit before that, for quite a while, celebration was January through March. So this year we have gone back to what it used to be a long time ago, where celebration's just January and February. So I want to make sure that you're well aware that the end of February is the end of celebration for all of 2023, which does mean things will start to sell out this last week because things are while supplies last. They did add a group of things that are regular catalog items, not just in the celebration catalog, so there's more to pick from than there were in January. And if you go to my website or if you're on my email list, then all of that is covered on there. So we'll talk a little bit about that. It makes me nervous when I start doing these videos ahead of time that I will pick something and then it will be gone. But at least if I pick it and it's gone and there's a video, that means a lot of you have it. And so you can go back and watch the video and make it once you have it. Before we get going on today's project, I want to remind you that you have a few more days left to register for my mini online retreat. It's going to be held in March. There isn't a specific date because it's online. The projects will all have video tutorials, and then you'll have the private link to complete all 6 projects. You'll get envelopes. You'll get, depending on how you do it, there's different ways to register. You can just get the videos. You can get just the consumables, the cardstock, the designer series papers, the ribbons, the embellishments, whatever is on the projects. You don't need a die cut machine. So if there are any die cuts or any punches or anything like that, they'll come to you already done. We are going to use embossing paste on all 6 projects. So if you get anything mailed to you, it does include a new thing of embossing paste in the palette tools. Then you can also pick to get 2 of the stamp sets, or if you get all 3 of them, and then you get a bonus freebie in there as well. And then there will be some kind of celebration goodie in all of the mailed kits as well. Depending on what your kit is, you'll get more celebration items. You don't have to use the sets I have picked. I'm going to show you real quick the ones I've used. And then all of these have a little video that you can go watch. I'm going to be using Best Day. All of these are not bundles. They don't have die cuts. And they're all able to be colored in, and you can color them however you choose. I'm not going to give you colors that I will be using because I'm going to make them kind of generic-ish, so you can use whatever you have. And I will use all different methods, and I'll kind of give you coloring techniques as well. This one doesn't have embossing paste on it, but I did use the new fine shimmer paper. And this one was colored with Wink of Stella and ink pads. So this is Best Day. And like I said, you can go watch them. If you have things that are similar at home, just substitute them. Or if you want all of them in the freebies, that's your best deal. This is Taco Fiesta, and I colored this one with our blends. And you can see this one does have the embossing paste. And I also colored the ribbon and deconstructed it, which is I should do a whole retreat on just deconstructing ribbon. That's one of my very favorite things to do. In fact, I almost did that on this card, but then I kept this card kind of simple. Not this card, the card I'm getting ready to make. And then Silly Goose. And this one I colored in with watercolor pencils and a blender pen. And then this one, the embossing paste, I gave her feathers. So that is the retreat. And then for today's card, I am going to use the celebration set. This is the host set. So if you collect orders from your friends, sorry, my throat and I have a cough. I'm going to try to power through. I may have to take a break and take a glass of water. And it gets worse when I talk. Don't you hate that? And I don't talk much when I'm at home except to my cats, and they're both asleep, so they're not helping right now. This is a host set, so there's a couple of ways to get it. You can collect orders from your friends, you can have a party, or you can just spend $300 yourself. Or if you're my customer and you, for this last week of celebration, and I'm going to start it, I don't know when this video will post, but I am going to do it from all of you that placed orders from February 14th, which was Valentine's Day, through the end of the month. If you place orders more than $75, and if you've already placed an order and it wasn't quite $75, I'm going to let you bump yourself up there. because this video won't have posted by Valentine's Day. So through the end of the month, everybody who goes into it will go into a drawing. And those of you who purchased the month that I did $100, you weren't able to go back in if you didn't win that weekend, because I've already done this one once. That weekend I gave away 3. I think I still have maybe 5 more of these. I'm going to give them all away. And I may even give the used one up because, you know, I'm only using it. I think we're going to use it at camp and make this card at camp. So it will be lightly used, but it's free. So I'll just keep record of it. It will, all of the prizes will ship when I ship your thank you gifts. So again, spend $75 or more. And that doesn't include your shipping and handling on tax. That's on merchandise. So $75 that you purchase, and then you'll go into drawings to get. I want them gone because they're just. I'm getting a huge stack of them. So I want them gone. $75 or more, and so I'm going to give you a little idea. I will show you the idea that I started with. And it's pretty, and it's the no-line watercolor technique, but it was taking me forever, so I just stopped to color this in. I'm like, I'm not doing this on a video. And it's partly because this looks like it's 1 stamp, and I went to open it, and it's 1 stamp, 2 stamps, and 3 stamps. And I stamped it in petal pink, and then I was coloring it, and I was, my mom and sister were texting the whole entire time I was trying to color it. So it was just taking too long. So I decided I was going to show you watercoloring is not difficult. It doesn't have to take a long time. We may do this in the retreat as well. And so I'm going to kind of give you a really quick way to watercolor, so much faster than the no line. And if you've never watercolored before and you think you can't do it, I'm going to show you that you can. And then you can go in this set. You don't have to spend 700. You don't have to spend 300. You can just spend 75 and cross your fingers. I have a lot of them, so the odds, may the odds be ever in your favor. I'm going to use Versamark because it's kind of a weird week. This week, I think we're going to have a little bit of snow. We're going to have weather in the 60s, but there's a lot of rain. So it's a little bit wet, and anytime it's going to be maybe a little bit humid, it's safer to just go ahead and emboss. Or you can heat set if you just want to stamp it in black. I'm going to emboss because it's beautiful. And it makes the watercolor the way I'm going to do it just a little bit safer, a little bit easier to do, especially if you're new to it. So I'm going to ink this up with Versamark. This is a piece of shimmer white. Now you need to either use watercolor paper or shimmer white. The shimmer white has that fun coating on it, so it will hold up to the water well. The water well. Just stamp this. Make sure you get a good impression. The good thing is if you win my stamps, they never have the stickers on them because I don't use them. I was going to get my embossing tray out, but I didn't. I have all these projects that I'm filming. I did switch shirts from the one I just filmed because I like to use my wrist when I watercolor as a way to clean my brush. And I just realized I didn't put my other shirt back on. So you're going to get to see my watercolor shirt. I am using black. This would also be pretty in gold. Just make sure you got everything. Make sure that you don't have any dusties around. The toolkit comes with a brush that you can brush those off. Put this back in. Didn't get my toolkit out. I should have. And you just want to heat this. It's simpler to hold it in one spot. Watch that melt, and as that melts, it goes solid and shiny, and then just move it. If you wave it, you're going to miss something, and then when you put the water on, it's going to erase it, and you'll have a blank spot. So it's easier to just get each section and then move it. Once you're sure you have everything, then you're good to go. Now you can use, we had the old aqua painters that you could use. You can use a paintbrush. I'm going to use our water painters. I love the water painters, and this I think is the finest tip. And this is why I have this shirt on. It's very old, but you see, it's perfect. And I painted the whole, well, I painted 2 cards. I did the other one and this one, and I just kept putting the water there, and it works perfectly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to do my background, and then it's the first thing I'm going to do and the last thing I'm going to do because I want to give it a base of some color, and then I'm going to go back and kind of add some color over the top of the color. So I'm going to do Balmy Blue, Shaded Spruce, and Gray Granite. So this is kind of the lightest of those 3 colors. So let's start with the Gray Granite. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of water into here. and just get a base. Now this doesn't have to be dark this time. And I am going to give my little stone pathway here some stone. Just like that. That's all I need for this time. And then I'm gonna go to my balmy blue. Just put a little bit of water in your pad. And because of the way our ink pads store with the ink, actually, you can see when I close it, this is down. Whatever water's in here is gonna dry. So as long as you keep them the right direction, they're fine. Now I wanna get some sky. So I'm gonna start here on the edges. But then you don't wanna have, like, if you do it just like this, all of this stuff behind it, like there's no sky. So I wanna get it pretty light. And then I'm just gonna add sky back in here. And you don't want a ton on your flowers because it'll be hard to get your colors to be true that we color our flowers if they have balmy blue right on top of it. But if you get this part right here, that's water, it'll be easier. And that's also the trick down here in a second with the shaded spruce, because spruce is a dark color, but we want some green grass, right? Aren't we ready for spring? Okay, so as soon as, who's like me, and as soon as Valentine's Day is over, aren't you just ready to get your spring decorations? I love St. Patrick's Day, and I have, I love Ireland, I love the United Kingdom, so I have a lot of really good St. Patrick's Day decorations that I've picked up over the years. I'll just be one of breaking those right out. So see, my flowers are turning green, but I'm trying to use just a really light wash with that. And then we'll put those over here and we'll come back to those in a minute. The gate's not hard. I'm gonna use early espresso, so I went with a dark brown. And that's pretty easy to cover up the blue. See, this is easy, it's a scribbling. You guys can scribble. All of you that thought, well, I can't watercolor, you can do this. The trick with the water painter is to get the water coming out, but then right now, like a little bit more water's coming out than what I need because I just did the wash. And also I have my glasses on. I see better up close. I always have my whole life. I have an astigmatism, so I really need to take them off. Sometimes I notice when I go to edit my videos that my glasses end up sitting right in the frame because I take them off. All right, so once you have like the color in them, now you need to kind of fill the edges up with the color. But this way now I know where my wood is, and it's a little bit easier to fill them in because I know where I want to go. Get down here to the bottoms and fill in those corners, but you don't have to get all of it all of the way because remember we're doing a quick watercolor. And we're not trying to look super artistic because this stamp is a little bit whimsical. So it's not trying to be some super fancy professional painting. You're just adding the color to make it fun. Now that the gate's done, I have this little bit of brown left on here, the espresso. So I'm gonna take just some of my bricks in here and just clean this off. That way it's not dark. I don't have to worry about getting too much brown, but I'll just clean it off. And however much I have is however much ends up on those. It's just enough shading. So now let's do our flowers. We're done with the brown. We don't need to go back to that. So I'm going to start with the Melon Mambo, which is the darkest pink. And I'm going to cover up some of the ones that have the darkest colors in them where I gave it that wash. The ones that don't have any color at all, I'm going to save for the polished pink. And the ones that have the darkest blue, I will put in my freesia. Because we all took art. Some of our kids, I think, are not going to be as fortunate as us and won't get art in school. But at least we learned when you mix colors, like what colors you end up with. So you don't want to mix any colors that are going to give us brown flowers. So we'll do one quick little wash like this, and then we'll go back and add a second coat, and then that will make them be a little darker. But see, that one didn't get any of the green on it. So we're going to save that one and give it the lighter pink. So it does take a second of concentration to make sure that you give them, and you want some of them mixed in, so you don't have to just give them those. So if there's some that are light, just go ahead and fill them in. We have 3 colors, so do about 1/3 of them. Now that those have had a second to dry, I'll go back and make them a little bit brighter. That one was kind of half with green, half not. Okay, now we're going to go from the Mambo to the polished pink, so I don't need to clean my brush off. This is the one where I'm going to get the ones that were mostly not anything. And then again, we'll go back for the second. If you watched my happy birthday video and then another one recently where I colored in with Stella, that is why my ink pads, some of them look like they're shiny, because the Stella gets in the top. I don't mind it. If you don't want your next thing to be sparkly, either clean it out with a wet wipe or just aim for a different part. But I'm already on shimmer white, so it doesn't bother me at all that it's a little sparkly. Now I'm just going to take, see, my sweatshirt. And the thing is, the reason I love this sweatshirt, and it's old, it was from Old Navy a million years ago. But all the times that all the colors that I put on here, you never see them. And it just dries right away. So here is fresh freesia. And we'll get all of the rest of the flowers now. And this again takes 2 coats just because it's a light color, and the second coat just makes the freesia kind of pop. You can see my paper's curling for 2 reasons. One, it was heat embossed, which can make your paper curl, and then I'm adding water to it. So when you go ahead and stick this on your card, you're going to make sure that you use enough adhesive to flatten it back down. I don't even remember all of the celebration things. I'm not going to use all of the ones. I don't even have all of the ones that were added. I don't have the clouds. There's a couple of those things that I don't have. So I'm not going to use those, but I don't remember which ones from the, I know I want to use the farm one again. I don't remember if I've only used it. I know I've used it for my VIP things. I know I used it in Try It, but I don't remember if I have used it in just a regular video. So I'm going to use it. And then I think there's another one that's similar to this, but I have a sepia card made with it. That may, and I'm not going to use the words because it's just a set of words. I don't, and again with the owls, I've used them in some private things. I don't know if I've put them on a public video. So I have some work ahead of me, girls. Okay, and then this is Parakeet Party. It's going to make our whole card just pop because this is kind of, it's pretty, right? But it's going to make the whole thing pop. And then we're really going to pop it when we do the last thing in a second. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is the big leaves because they're the easiest to see. And you're not staying in the lines. because this is kind of a faux fast watercolor. We're not concentrating on lines. We're just daubing color where there's giant leaves. And then any place where we feel in a minute where we want to go do stem, we'll do stem. The parakeet party is a happy color. Okay, now we're going to go back in the second coat. We'll brighten it all up. But I'm not going to hit all the leaves. I'm just going to hit some of them, and that will kind of give some dimension and depth to our leaves. And any place like here, it's kind of where there's big stem, I'll get the stem. See, the stems don't even touch. It's definitely a whimsy set. Okay, now I've got Parakeet Party, so we're gonna go back, and this is the thing that's gonna kind of really seal the deal for our card. I'm gonna go back to my Shaded Spruce. So you can see that's got some green, but it's not spruce. It's very light as far as spruce goes. I'm gonna add some more water in here. I'm gonna keep the parakeet that was on there in there. And then I want another layer of spruce, but I don't want it to be, let's see if I get this to, that's better. I don't want it everywhere. I just want it kind of up in some of these. And go over into our, and it'll kind of move around where your water's wet. And just pull it out. And now we have some spruce, but it, with the other color pulling it out, it kind of gives us a little bit of a illusion that the ground is going away from us. Kind of a little bit of a landscape. Just pull it into here. So our ground is done, and then we're going to do the same thing, and I need to clean this off. See my magic shirt? All those colors from all morning long of painting. That's why I didn't change. I needed to show you my magic shirt. Now I'm going to get my balmy blue, and we're going to do the same thing. And we don't need very much because I'm only going to hit it in a couple of spots with the blue. You want to be careful that you don't hit any of that, especially the pink, because it'll pull the color right out. And once you kind of have that, again, take just a little bit on the tip of your brush. Just get in some of the larger spaces. Don't try to get everywhere, because if you hit those pinks, it'll just pull the color with it. Just get a tiny bit in here. And just getting it a little bit will give the illusion. That's all you need. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And so easy. Anybody can do that. It's literally just rubbing color around. You can just practice. In fact, if you have not done anything like this before, just go ahead and emboss it on some regular scrap cardstock. Don't worry, your cardstock won't move the color as well, and it might start to pill, but it will help you kind of get the feel for it before you use some shimmer white. Now let's finish this off. And you can see this it has a little bit of balmy blue on it, so just squeeze that off. And then the color just comes out, and then you just store them like that. You always want to make sure that it has some water in it, and that you store them tip down. It always keeps your tip ready to use. I have like 3 sets. I find that I mostly use the small one because most of our designs are on the small side. And take some Shaded Spruce. Look how pretty this looks. It just makes that grass pop right off there. who's ready. I know some of you live where it's warm. And I know some of you live like in places like Idaho where it hasn't stopped snowing, or Colorado. And we have seen some 60s. So, you know, I'll take what we can get. But I'm ready for that first time we cut the grass, and it's not close yet. This is one of I've had a few of you because I've used several of these now. These are going to be part of the online exclusives. So the online exclusives are new things that Stampin' Up! Will be starting, and they're going to happen 3 times a year. The first drop of them will be March 1st. Not going to be in a catalog, as the name implies. They will be online. So on March 1st, I will show you all of them. I don't have all of them. As demonstrators, we were able to pre-purchase some of them, not all of them. And they may differ by market, which means what my demonstrator friends in Australia have may be different than the girls in Scotland have, and that may be different what we have here in the US. So it could be different by market. But the stuff that I have shown you, and you can see the flyer on my website, if you have to have it now and you're not a demonstrator, then you can join my team, and then you'll also get $50 extra, and then you'll get my online retreat for free, because that's a perk of being on my team. So it's a 3-pack of folders, and they're all really cool. This one is kind of like a cane backing. It kind of just reminded me like if you were out picking flowers and putting them in your little basket. And then I looked at all kinds of ribbon, because we have ribbon in almost all of these colors. And then I thought, well, I'll use the celebration ribbon and deconstruct it and make it all floofy and beautiful. But then I pulled this over, and this is in the annual catalog, and it's just simple and plain, and it was just, I thought, what the card needed. And I know some of you don't like to tie bows. So for those of you that think you can't color and think you can't tie bows, this card's it's for you. It is literally right up your alley. So I'm just going to take some adhesive and put it on the back side of this. And remember, you can get this stamp set completely free with a $300 purchase, or spend $75 in merchandise from the 14th through February 28th on my website, and go into a drawing for all of the ones I have left. I may have 5, and I'll probably get at least 1 more before the end. And then if you're a winner, I'll notify you by email. It has some yellow ribbon that's going to get under there from another card. It's just going to stay. And I cut this piece a little bit smaller than I normally do. It is sand, which is not a color that I used on my card. But I thought it had that basket feel. And then remember, this is kind of warped from both embossing and the water. So normally I don't use a ton of adhesive, but I want to make sure that this lays kind of flat. So I'm going to go all the way around in a rectangle and then in an X, and that'll help hold it. Plus, it's got to go over the top of the ribbon. Just stick it here. Nice and simple, and it really helps this pop. You could take this off and the card itself and make it be a little framed piece. It would be cute to sit out with your St. Patrick's Day decorations when you get them out, when you put your Valentine's Day stuff up. And my Valentine's stuff is cute, and it doesn't stay out for very long because I am a decorations purist. My stuff comes out February 1st. I can't do it in January. And then I'm going to use these again from the annual catalog, the brushed brass butterflies. And there's 2 sizes, and you want to use an odd number. So I'm going to use, my other one I have 2 smalls and a big. So this time I'm going to use 2 bigs. And last time I put them all on the design, I'm going to keep them on there. I thought maybe it might look cute with one of them there, but I'm going to put them all on the flowers. Super cute, so easy to do. If you have always thought you couldn't watercolor, try it, guys. You already have stamp pads. If you just have to buy a watercolor, you can do it. If it stays on ink, would work for sure. And this is a red rubber stamp, so you can use it with that. You don't want to use your stays on the photopolymer because it's not good for the photopolymer, but it wouldn't smear. The other thing is you can just stamp it and then come back to it in a while and let it dry. Or if you live someplace where the heat's dry, like in Nevada or Arizona, you'll be good to go because it will dry your ink. But super fun to do and not at all hard. It doesn't take any talent to just rub your color on there. So if you're interested in my retreat, if you're interested in joining my team, all of that information, look down underneath the video if you're on YouTube, and the links there are for my website. Everybody have a great one and come back as we finish out Celebration 2023. Bye.